Welcome back to the channel, everyone. In this week's video, we're gonna be installing board and batten in a bathroom for a client. We've got a lot of work ahead of us, a lot of measuring and cutting to do, so let's get started.
Happy Friday, everyone. We are back on the job, a brand new job today. We're gonna do some board and batten, wainscoting, whatever you wanna call it. It's a Friday, it's rainy, it's nasty. We just finished that fireplace, and if you wanna watch that video, I'll throw up here. Kinda still recovering from that a little bit. I'm gonna take today easy, get some very important things done that need to happen, but just not rush this process. So my goal for today is gonna be figuring out the layouts of this board and batten. It's a probably like 7x5 bathroom. Of course, there's the toilet and the vanity and the door, all that. So I want to figure out where all of this is going to go. So we've completed that. I'll run to Lowe's. I'll get all the material, everything I'm going to need for this job. I'll take it back to the customer's house, and I'm going to call it a day from there. So let's get started.
And here is the bathroom. Yay, very standard bathroom. There's a sink, toilet paper, door for privacy. We're gonna put the board and batten on the walls. That's what you do. And these are the walls. So pretty standard.
I was right, 7 by 5, a little over 5 feet. It's probably like 7x5 bathroom. But pretty much right at 7 feet. That was a straight up guess.
All right, so here's the deal. I have some anxiety when it comes to drilling into walls. I'm always afraid I'm gonna hit an electrical line or a pipe.
I haven't done it yet. I may do it, probably I will do it. I would almost say definitely.
With this project, we're gonna try something a little bit different. We're also gonna take some extra precautions, since we're working in a bathroom, to not do that at all.
So objective number 1 is going to be figuring out the height and the layout. How close do we want our stiles? How wide do we want our panels to actually be? And then how tall do we want to go? Jess says that we need to go about to 65 inches, at least up to that, if not lower, closer to 5 feet. I think we're thinking probably 65 inches just because of how tall these ceilings are. Our ceilings are they're at least 10 feet tall. And then another thing to consider is the height of our baseboard. We want the appearance of the stiles to be taller, especially in a room like this. So for me personally, I'm kind of leaning more towards that 65 mark. So this was about where it was. So something like that. That's about the height of the stile right there. And looking at it from out here, you can see how much more space. And they're also going to wallpaper, so from here up to the ceiling is going to be wallpaper. About 47.5 inches of wallpaper. So on this wall, we've got 3 things working against us. We've got an outlet, a switch, and a towel rack. A good idea is to start with your smallest wall to find out what your, I guess, minimum panel length or depth is, and try to carry that over to the rest of the wall, as opposed to following a sequence on the big walls, getting to this and there being issues like this and it just not working out or looking right.
This really did take me quite some time, and I went through a couple of different variations, a couple of different widths of what these panels would look like. Going about it this way is the best way, taking my time and trying to find the best possible look. I originally didn't want to add very many panels. I wanted a minimum amount of panels. It turns out that I was gonna have to make these panels look a little bit smaller.
All right, so it's been about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, but I think I've cracked the code. I've spent a lot of time doing some math and spacing all of these things out relative to the mirror and then this wall here. You're never gonna get even spacing. Oh, it's never gonna be like 12 inches all the way around, especially when you've got 4 different walls. If it was one wall, you can make even spacing. So the next thing is dealing with things like this, objects that have already been placed. I can't do anything about this, I can't do anything about the light, but I wanna make sure that our stiles look
you know, like they're supposed to fit there. And at first I wanted less stiles on this wall since this room is so small, but I think I'm gonna have to go with more. So basically, if there were gonna be 3 panels on this wall, I had to go to 4 panels. So instead of 3 stiles in the middle, or 2 stiles, it would be 3. I was gonna start the first stile here. I changed my mind, I'm not gonna do that because just the way the math works out, this corner and this corner will not have stiles up against the casing. That's totally fine. So we've got about 12 1/4 here, 11 3/4 right there, and then everywhere else is between 12 1/4 and 12 1/8. We're only gonna need 2 extra stiles to make this layout work. Totally fine, it's in the budget, we've got it covered. So the first phase of this project has been completed. We've got our measurements, we have our layout. I know how many boards I need. I know my material, so that's just so helpful. I love doing it this way. It's a little bit more time consuming and you have to have a little bit of patience. It is tedious work. It does make the process of gathering material a lot easier. So we're gonna run to Lowe's and we're gonna grab everything that we're gonna need for this project, bring it back, and then go home and call it a weekend. Lowe's, Lowe's, Lowe's. Here we go to Lowe's, back to Lowe's. The first thing we need is some type of, not sealant, adhesive, but not that one. Adhesive, we need an adhesive here. Where's the adhesive? This is what I want right here. Premium construction adhesive. Go, maybe. Now we need one of these. And look at this, it even comes with a little basket. Perfect. For the stiles. We need 19 of those. This is the face of a man who needs a truck. This is the interior of a Jeep that is saying, buy a truck, you fool. Good morning, it's Monday. We are headed back to the job site. It's a rough morning because daylight savings time was yesterday. For today, now that we have all of our measurements and our layout, we're gonna focus on our cuts and figuring out how to attach all the boards. So let's get going. So this place may look a little familiar because this is where we did the cubbies. This video here, they liked it so much, they were like, hey, come back and do this. All right, folks, here's the rundown for all of our measurements. Our total height is gonna be 65 3/4. That includes our very top piece, our top trim piece, which is 3/4 of an inch. And then we're gonna be using a 1x4 as the rail. And then the height of our stiles is gonna be 53 1/4. That is including the baseboard here. So we do have a little bit of a height discrepancy between these two adjacent walls. It increases about 1/8 of an inch as you go around the room. So you would think, hey, it makes sense to go ahead and cut all of our stiles to the same height. But in this case, if we do that, when we set our rail and level it, there's gonna be some pieces that are gonna be shorter, and we don't want that. So the way we are going to approach this problem, instead of setting the stiles first and then our top rail, we're gonna reverse it. We're gonna set the rail and make sure it's nice and level, and then we're gonna fit all of our stiles to those specific measurements. So if one side of the wall is 53 3/4, but on the other side, it needs about a 1/16 more just to make sure that it fits really tight and looks like it's seamless and snug and all that good stuff, that's what we're gonna do. Okay, so we have our first 3 rails attached. Everything's going good. We've gone into the studs. We've got some construction adhesive on the back. Limiting the number of brad nails just to be on the safe side since we are working in a bathroom. I did 2-inch brad nails to go into the studs, and then those corner pieces or those side pieces next to the mirror, there was only 1 stud that they went into, and so I switched to 1 1/4 inch brad nail, and so that gets me through the thickness of my material and into the 1/2 inch drywall, and ensures that I'm not gonna go beyond the drywall. It's really just to hold it to the wall so that the construction adhesive can do its job and adhere to the wall. So we'll go ahead and add the other 2 rails here, adding the construction adhesive and brad nailing them with those 2-inch brad nails into the previously located studs. And all of that prep work we did, all the time we spent making sure everything was measured correctly, makes this portion of the job go by super quickly. And no, it's not because this is a time lapse or the video is sped up. All right, update time. We've got all of our rails attached, our stiles are cut and set to where they're gonna go, except for our corner pieces. We're gonna wait on those. But pretty much all of these are good to go. So now I've got to refresh my brain on what the gaps are, and then from there I can go ahead and get these suckers attached. Each of these walls have different gaps, but they're all very close to the same, except for this wall that I'm working on right now. This one has to have a little bit of a special attention. The gap is a little bit smaller, so it was like 11 3/4, something like that. Everything to the left of the mirror around the wall is in that ballpark of 12 inches. All right, we are wrapping up for today. We have pretty much all of all the rails are complete, that's for sure. All the stiles, the vertical pieces, those are all attached. And then our top trim piece, that has been attached as well. Got pretty much everything caulked. I did run out of caulk, so I've got to get some more. All of our holes are filled, all that good stuff. So just about probably like 75 to 80% of this project is complete. And so we'll come back tomorrow. I've got to cut a couple of pieces on the table saw, so that the fit is pretty snug. And then we got to paint. So we're going to paint all of our trim, and then we're also going to paint the panels, basically the drywall, get all of that the same color, because somebody on Wednesday is coming to measure for wallpaper. We're going to do wallpaper on the top portion of this board and batten wall. All right, we are back at the shop, also known as our carport. And I've got 3 pieces here that I need to cut down. One of them has to be cut just about 3/4 of an inch. The other 2 have to be cut at 3/4 of an inch and at a bevel. So this first piece is going to be that corner piece next to the outlet. So you see the outlet there? So we have this other piece butted up on the left side of the wall, and then this piece is gonna go on the right side. In order to give the appearance that both of them are or at least both of them are the same thickness or width, one of them has to be cut down. So you can either cut both of them down and butt them up against each other, or in this case, since the wall is decently straight up and down, I'm just gonna cut one of them and butt it up against the next, and then we'll just caulk it. So on these next 2 pieces, what I'm gonna do, this is the left side of the wall, this is the right. I'm going to rip them both down. I'm gonna take off 3/4 for both of them, and I'm gonna butt them up against each other. So on the back side of it, so instead of butting them up this way here, you have it where they're butted up like this. So this is our piece that's going to go over that outlet. There's our mark for the top of the outlet. I did some research this morning because I was trying to think through how I wanted this to look. I didn't want it to just like butt up against the receptacle. I feel like it just would look weird, but I saw some people online that gave it like this
They gave it a bevel cut, like this forward bevel cut. I think that'll look nice around the outlet. Okay, so check this out. So we've got this piece right here that's gonna go on the left side of our receptacle. It's about 1.125 inches, and it fits like a glove. So I've got a couple of forward beveled 45s on the top piece and the bottom piece, and then the same thing, this one has a back bevel 45 and then a forward bevel on the front side. So this is essentially what it's going to look like. I personally think this looks a little bit better having that bevel cut in there. I think it's going to look a little more thought out as opposed to just throwing a couple of pieces in here and giving, you know, no effort in trying to make it look unique, essentially. Oh my gosh, if that did not take forever, I don't know what would be defined as forever. But it took me 5 coats to get that wall to look white. Y'all, this is gonna take some time. Probably not using the right roller foam for a wall here, but this is what I got. And I think I know why. I think it's because I used a cabinet and door trim foam roller, and it just, yeah, that's on me. So our portion of the job is complete. We've got somebody coming tomorrow that's going to measure and inevitably install wallpaper. We don't do wallpapering. We're leaving that to the pros. They'll come and do that. They'll finish out the top portion of the bathroom with wallpaper. It's gonna look really good. We're really excited to see it. So yeah, I guess that's kind of it. I guess the next clip is probably gonna be the final result. So here it is.